older.
High school was fun. I love high school. In retrospect, I hate high school.
I would have to say my adolescence was one of the most awkward periods of my life, and not very exciting or happy or terrific.
High school was easy academically and like kind of painful socially because
I fucking hated high school.
we're
Weird, uncomfortable, probably the same as for anybody else going through adolescence.
High school was the fucking worst.
High school was a lot of miserable and a lot of academic competition and a lot of me being depressed and miserable and crying and a lot of me being very in love with my best friend.
Well, like
Brief. Very, very brief. I got out of high school my sophomore year.
I liked it and I hated it all at once, like every other kid likes it and hates it.
It's a pretty blurry area of my life, actually, right there.
What was that?
you know, high school was a good experience for me. It really was.
High school sucked.
That was, I spent like 2 days in English my entire freshman year. I had like the worst attendance record. I had like a .62 GPA, and yeah, I was just always out, like just fucking up, getting high, skipping school, doing anything I possibly could. And then they find out my sophomore year I've got ADHD. So yeah, they started putting me on Ritalin, and the pot was fine. That was doing me good. And then the Ritalin, I was just like totally zonked out. It sucks.
They gave you
Public schooling was a lot more strict than the private school, so I got away with a lot more.
really.
I did. I was late to class. This one class, well, first period, all the time, like 32 times in 1 month. No, just kidding.
Maybe because I was an only child. Maybe because I was more motivated than a lot of my friends. Because it was just like I didn't understand why people were so mean, or just like didn't think that being smart was cool. It's just like I remember this boy that I liked. He was like, oh, she's pretty, but I wouldn't go out with her because she's smarter than me. And I was just like, I kind of grappled with that for a while. But then, of course, I realized at some point that I didn't want to date somebody that felt that he was inferior to me in the first place.
And I mean, high school, for everyone, it's like the turning point in your life. It's like the grow up stage. When you hit freshman, I'm just like, yeah, I'm a freshman. Sure, I'm in high school. I'm bigger than you. I'm a 9th grader. You're an 8th grader. I'm bigger than you.
We had fights, riots, and walkouts. At least one every year. Like massive ones that would take over like a portion of the school. Like my 8th and 9th grade year, the walkout turned into a riot. One of my favorite teachers actually ended up getting the snot beat out of him. The African American students were wearing shirts that say it's a black thing you won't understand. And so were like all the other minority students, which that's fine. It's a little like, if I wouldn't understand, explain it to me. They were told they couldn't wear those shirts. And the Latino students were told they could not wear red and black.
People are mean. Kids are mean. It's like they're brutally honest in a sense, but then they're so petty. And just kids are mean. I hated high school.
So it's only getting colder.
It's nice. Some of the people in my high school were stuck up on material things. I'm sure they're great people now, or maybe they're not. I like to think that they're not. But for example, in our yearbook, there were a bunch of like 8 guys who in the back of our yearbook, they had an advertisement or like a full-page photo of them on a Rolls Royce, saying "From the best to the rest."
I'd never go back. You have some people say, "Oh, I'd love to go back to high school. I'd love to do this." I didn't go to my prom. I just didn't like it.
Was there inner city schools are different than suburban schools? There are no like hardcore cliques.
You know, like movies like Heathers and those movies, they always talk about that stuff. Girls are very confrontational. Black girls are very, so if there's no talking behind the back about if they don't like you, that's pretty much it. Like, you're gonna know about it. They're gonna tell it to you in your face, and so there's not gonna be any subtlety, any body language bullshit, whatever.
I'm from Los Angeles. I'm from Baywatch. I was a cheerleader. All my friends were. We were barfing. All we cared about was our weight. We were eating cookie dough and Bacardi 151 and diet soda. I laid on the beach in baby oil and fried up like a fucking fish.
But I was one of those girls that walked down the hall and people thought that I was ready to fight. I was a pretty angry teenager, actually. But at the same time, I was a complete bookworm.
So, like, all this culminated into the students doing a walkout, like all the minority students doing the walkout. And that would have been okay, but they started brawling in A-Hall because everyone was trying to, like, settle it down. Like, our security officer got beat up because he was a big white guy, big blonde white guy. And yeah, so we had a huge brawl. School was canceled for the rest of the day, and we were watching the news about it, and welcome to the burbs.
I know.
My elementary school had a gang.
That's why I left the suburbs.
Okay, thank God, you know, I have this brain and I can study and I'm getting the results. So I studied a lot. And my goal, of course, was a scholarship, financial aid. I've got to get out of here. I was a song leader. If you were a cheerleader, you were sort of more in that more popular group, and I was sort of in the middle because I didn't party at all. I went to church 4 times a week. Wow. The youth group and everything, and I kind of just adopted my youth pastor as sort of the father I didn't have. So someone came up to me at my 20th class reunion and said this summer, he goes, yeah. He goes, you were beautiful in high school and you're beautiful today. And I said, well, I'm thinking to myself, well, if that isn't a pickup line, I don't know what is. You know, like Time, Place, Self is the 20th class reunion. The dude's still trying.
I think every senior in high school was a pedophile. Because there were seniors going out with freshmen, and I'm just like, what is going on here? You're 20 years old going out with this, what age in high school when you're a freshman? What, 17? Or more like 16. It's like 16 and a half?
15.
Something like that. These,
14, 15.
People, 17, 18, maybe 19 years old,
In school, yeah, for a few crushes, like, but I suppose shifted most of the girls in it, like, in my class. But at that age, man, there was no, in Ireland especially, like, Catholic Ireland, man, sex then was a taboo, like. There was no fucking way you could go shagging a girl when you were 16, like. But, is that changing?
Oh my God, the day I graduated from high school, I actually said a speech. I got picked to do a speech because I'm a really good writer. I really thought my life was going to be like Marsha Brady, and it wasn't. And at that point, firecrackers went off in the street, and the whole stadium was still. And I'm like going, fuck. And I look around and go, are you guys still with me? And they go, yeah! And then all the guys I didn't like, or I liked but wouldn't talk to me, were like, oh, fuck you now.
Unfortunately, during that time, I did kind of want to be cool to a certain extent. So I never really got involved in theater, but I always wanted to. I'd sneak into sometimes the theater rehearsals and just watch the kids perform, sometimes like people would be out on a Friday night, I'd be at home watching maybe the Larry Sanders Show or the Kids in the Hall.